the vast expanse of existence, matter, dimensions. They are not just a straight line, rather, it interprets endless possibilities. Each decision we make can ripple through the fabric of reality, creating new and uncharted worlds. I am Sourblow, your guide in these numerous dimensions. Journey with me as we explore the question, what if?
Hello. Welcome to the next, the third What If. Last week, unfortunately, I had some things to do and I had to cancel on my guest, but my guest seems to be getting ready. He's, uh, he's the king of entertainment. He's, uh, he's someone that I feel this is going to be a very fun episode, and he actually because of him, I learned about the topic of today's episode. Without further ado, I'm not the best with intros, but this guy is, he's the king of entertainment. I'm sure he has a great introduction to himself. So here we go. Cowboy, the king of entertainment. How you doing, Cowboy?
My bad. Sorry, I was getting it together. Guys, let me formally introduce myself to the whole world watching. You guys, the Mystic Fragment crew. I am none other than the cowboy. Whoa. I'm the master of vlogging. I'm the king of entertainment. I'm the king of content. I'm Anthony L. Lewis in real life. I'm the all-purpose champ. Guys, I'm the cowboy king of entertainment. And I came on here as soon as my guy said, listen, cowboy, we need you. And I was like, let's go. And guys, even though he stood me up last week, not a problem, because my guy, he's one of those good guys. Hey, wait, even though he stood me up in New York, man. You know, we're supposed to meet.
Yeah, I
You know,
forgot what
you got a
happened.
habit of standing me up, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is the second time. There won't be a third time.
This guy, man.
I'll try
Well,
to keep that promise.
I am happy to be on here. I'm happy to be a part of the show. I remember I got to be a guest on the Xbox International podcast. That was nothing less than epic. So everything you do, man, always end up being epic. So I'm ready to be a part of the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I try my best. I try my best. So, anyways, without further ado, today's topic is what if Gamefly, which is something I didn't know about, what if Game Pass partner with with a publisher? Like, what would be there? Well, oh wow, look at that.
Yes, sir.
All right, before we get into the what if, I do like to give a small recap of what is the topic about. So, Gamefly, what I have here in my notes, is a subscription-based service that allows users to rent video games and movies. It's often compared to like a DVD by mail model. I believe Netflix started that way, right?
Um, I'm pretty sure this was around before Netflix.
No, but I'm saying Netflix
Yeah,
had that style.
Netflix started off as DVD. Yes, they started
Okay,
off as
yeah.
DVDs, and
All
then
right.
their
So
digital got
this was
popular.
so this was before Netflix.
Yeah,
They were already doing this. Oh, that's
yeah,
pretty cool. I did not know that.
yeah,
Okay, so you can select the titles online. They're shipped to you directly to the door,
yeah,
and they offer games from all the system basically. From what I'm seeing here in my notes,
yeah.
they were founded on 2002 by Sean Spector, Jung Soo, and Toby Link. Uh, excuse me if I butcher any of the names. Um, Then I do here have. I don't think this is relevant, but I'll still mention it real quick. So
Yeah.
they acquired some news platforms such as Shack News and Moby Games. I actually have used Moby Games. They have a pretty cool like. If you want to see like what happened in certain date on gaming, you go by year. They have a whole calendar. That's actually pretty cool. They merged with Direct to Drive in 2011, but then they sold it on 2014, and then in 2018, Electronic Arts acquired Gamefly cloud gaming technology assets.
It's crazy.
I did not know that either.
Crazy.
But the main Gamefly service remain independent. So they just basically acquire a part like that certain technology from them. And currently they're owned by Alliance Entertainment, and they continue to operate as a standalone company. Am I missing anything else?
No, I mean, that and a gist of it, that's pretty much it. But I can't wait to get into it because I once went up against, as you guys know, Doc Dark 1985. And he was talking about Game Pass and how great it is. I said, the true greatest service of gaming I think, is Gamefly. Now, yes, you gotta wait for it to come in the mail, but think about it. The limitless limitations of Gamefly, you could get Nintendo games, you could get Xbox games, you could get PlayStation games. So what I was saying was, yes, I think Gamefly is the best. Sorry, Game Pass is the best subscription if, and I know people get mad when I say this, but if you don't really care what games you're gonna get. Now, sure, people might say, "What are you talking about?" Well, if you're an Xbox fan and you know the Xbox exclusives are tied in, then you're set. But if you were just new and you didn't particularly care about this specific Xbox games, you just said, if you was like, okay, I wanna get games. I got Game Pass, right? What do they got? But if you said I want that game, then Game Pass isn't for you because you can't get that game. But Gamefly is for you. Like currently, right now, what I have from Gamefly is Split Fiction. My wife and I have been playing Split Fiction. And
How you liking the game?
Well, we beat it last week.
Okay, you beat it. Okay, nice.
But we missed one story mission. We didn't know. It was like, how did we miss that? So we're gonna go back and stream that one last story mission we missed. Not story mission, side mission.
So assignment.
Yeah.
What do you think about that final stretch? That final stretch was crazy.
You know what's crazy, man? It is like a real video game, right? So this is what I mean. When you think of video games, right? You think of like, a character, this and that. But I feel like, and I see Purple popped in, like, and you may agree to this, like, we say indie games do like stuff, the AAAs don't do. Well, when you play this game, it's like the last part, like it's like, we're not going to spoil it, but all what's going on at one time, your mind is like, this is a video game. Like, this isn't just one third-person character. This isn't one first-person shooter. This isn't one playing game. This isn't one racing game. This is everything into one game. And a lot of the times it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
You're playing it like, wait, what? It's so powerful. I told my son, I said, listen, I want to play it again. So I told my son, I'll play it with you, but this time I'm going to be the character that my wife was, so I can play that side. So, it was great.
I played it with my friend Alvio from XBI in Spanish, and we love the game. He played with one character, I played with one character, and I just have I'm making the monthly magazine and all that.
Right.
And what we did was actually, he did a review as if he was the character he played, and then I did my review.
Nice. So who did you use?
I played with Zoe.
Okay.
Zoe Foster.
Yeah, and I played with Mio.
Yeah, initially, like if I would have chosen one from the beginning, I would have chosen Mio. But he was
Yeah,
he got it day one, so I was like, I'll let him choose, and then
yeah.
yeah,
You know what's crazy is every time I play those games they make, my wife always get the harder character. I felt Zoe was harder than Mio. There were some spots
there was a, yeah,
I was like, man, what she had to do, and I give her credit. I mean, there was one day we was stuck on one spot for an hour and a half. It took us 21 hours to beat it. Where it's supposed to be like 15. So
yeah,
and my wife, she's not the gamer, but like we beat A Way Out, we beat It Takes Two, and we obviously want to play this. But even It Takes Two, I was the guy, she was the girl. The girl side was way harder. I was like, man, I felt bad for her a lot of times. Like, wow.
yeah. I wanna I wanna play with my wife this game too, because we also play A Way Out, and we
Okay.
also play It Takes Two, and she actually liked it, even though like probably like your wife, she doesn't normally plays a lot of video games, so it took us a lot longer to beat
Yeah.
the game than normal. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there was a point in time where my wife was like, just take the controller and do it for me. I was like, nope, we got
no,
to do it
yeah,
from
I'm the same.
beginning.
I'm the
I
same.
don't care
Yeah,
how long it takes, we're going to do it. And we
yeah,
got through the whole thing. Yeah,
yeah. It feels good when you actually do it. So
it really does. You know what? When It Takes Two won Game of the Year, I was like, I don't, I still didn't feel it should have won Game of the Year. And then when
yeah,
this came out, I was like, okay. And I will say this: this might sound bad, but I lowered what I feel should be Game of the Year now after It Takes Two winning, after Stray was in the running. What won last year?
last year wasn't it? No wait, Baldur's Gate was the year before, right?
Right.
This year
Last year was
was
Astrobot.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Astrobot.
so Astrobot won. I was like, what are we doing? And then I played Astrobot, and I was like, you know what? It is really good. I still don't think it should have been Game of the Year. So now I'm like, I think they're trying to shift. They're trying not to make Game of the Year always a third person action adventure story game. Now it's pretty much it's up in the air what could be what could be Game of the Year. I think Game of the Year landscape has changed. So for me, so far I'm like, okay, if I just think of a game, a video game, right? Not the third person story driven game, but as a video game that's going to be outside of the box, a lot going on. You feel like this is a game,
Yeah, this
man.
is.
Split Fiction,
You know what it is. Also, I think that a lot of these games that come out now, they're very long games,
right?
and I feel that when you're like a reviewer, especially like when you work for someone, you get the code and you want to try to beat it because
Right.
you're trying to do the review. You probably don't enjoy it as much. But
Yeah.
if it's a game like this, you could beat it in 15 hours. You know,
And then
you can enjoy it more.
and plus this game, the story was good, but the gameplay. I mean, you had to you had to be on point. You could. It
Yeah.
wasn't a game where you're like, oh, I just sit back and you do all the work. No,
No.
no, no, no. You had to play your part. The game
Yeah.
forced you to play the game and all the intricacies and the crazy up and
It
down.
it has so many game mechanics that I felt some of them they could have even be exploited even more if they
I
wanted to.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Man.
But anyway,
Woo.
going back to the topic. Um, so but I was gonna ask you this. I heard Gamefly. I don't know if this is true, but since you use it, when you actually rent a game,
Mhm.
you can keep it for as long as you have to, and then
Correct.
oh, that's
So
awesome.
here's what's cool. Let me break it down. So here's what's crazy. You said that it came out in 2002. I've been using GameFly since 2008. Just think how long I've been using GameFly. There was one point in time where I canceled my GameFly for 1 week. So when I was super into Stadia, Stadia was cloud. So all I was using GameFly was to get movies. So that's the cool thing, you can do movies. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cancel it. I canceled it, and a week later, I had went to the movies and seen Resident Evil, the most recent Resident Evil movie. And Resident Evil, as you know, is my favorite video game franchise. So when I seen that, I was like, oh, now I wanted to play Resident Evil 2 Remake because I never played it. So I was like, let me re-up on my Gamefly. So quickly got my Gamefly back. So it still has my length of history from 2008. I didn't lose that, because I would have felt, like, damn, after 1 week. So anyway, I've had it since then. But here's the cool things with it. One, you could keep a game as long as you want. Now, you're going to pay every month. It's like $17 a month, $17.99. So you're going to pay every month. But yeah, if you want to keep it as long as you want, you can. Here's another cool thing. If you hit the keep button, meaning like, let's say, this is different. Keeping it just means you don't send it back. Let's say I really like this game. I've brought so many games on Gamefly for people because it becomes really cheap. And I used to test people. I used to say, go to GameStop or go online, and I guarantee if you hit the keep button on Gamefly, it's cheaper than GameStop. So people would be like, dude, could you buy me a game? Even Obi Rose. Ask Obi Rose. I bought him a bunch of games. So I will go on Gamefly, get it sent to me, and then hit the keep button. And it'll tell you how much it'll be if you want to keep it, like meaning own it, buy it from them. And if it's a newer game, they won't allow you to buy it. So you could buy it from them, and then you get it really cheap. So I used to buy a lot of physical games from Gamefly. Another thing Gamefly had that's really cool, it's called Game Lock. So let's say it's like a lot of people say, oh, well, it's coming in the mail, right? You got to wait. That is true. That is true. But here's what's cool. You could say, okay, a game, matter of fact, all right, I game locked Split Fiction. So if you game lock it, that means when the game first come out, they're going to send it to you right away. So you're going to get it within the first or 3 days of its release. So Split Fiction came out, I guess, what was it, like Friday or something like that? And I got it like that Monday. It was like 3 days later I got it, right? I even game locked the what is it called? The 33 game that's coming out?
Oh, 33 Expedition?
Yeah, 33.
Or Expedition 33, I always get
it. Yeah, Expedition 33. That comes out the 24th of this month.
I want to play it.
I already game locked it. So as long as I send this game back by the week before, then they're going to send me out the next game. So you automatically got it locked for you, right? And you can do that once a month. So that is the thing. So you could lock one game a month, right?
Yeah, I mean, but
yeah,
one game, that's good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So so my list of games is always there, right, of what I want. You can shift them around, drag what you want next. You can even change it. You can say, okay, I want to prioritize that it send me the very next game the top game on my list. And give it but I'll take up to 7 days to get the top game on my list. So maybe your top game, because they do low, medium, high. High means that game is readily available. It's top of your list. They sending it. Medium means like, okay, it might, where your location is, the warehouse might not be as close to you. So you might not get it as fast, right? They got a bunch of warehouse over the United States. And then low means it's a high demand, like Assassin's Creed that just came out. That's a low, right? So you ain't getting that unless you you game locked it, or you just know it could take a while. So what I like to do is, if I don't really, if I'm kind of playing, like right now I'm playing Monster Hunter that I've purchased, if I don't really care what game I get next, like I was going to send, when I send this back, the game comes out in a couple, so I'll probably send this back just in time to get the other one because my son want to play it. But let's say if there was no game I specifically wanted next, I would just put it on send me the fastest game. So no matter what's in my top list or whatever, you're going to send me whatever game I could get as fastest. My third game might be at a warehouse that's close to me, and they'll just send that, right? So you can switch up whatever. And then here's another thing that's cool. You don't have to wait for it to go back to the mailbox. Once you put it in the mailbox, you go online, you go to site, and you hit shipped, already shipped. So when you hit that lets them know that you already shipped it, and as long as you don't have no flags on your account, they give you the benefit of the doubt as if it's already it already went out. And so they are instantly going to send you your next game. And then the mail office, they'll scan it, whatever, and let them know, it's coming back. So that's cool too. Not waiting for it to actually get back to them for them to send you out another game. Yeah. There's a lot of common misconceptions where people think like, oh, well, you got to wait for it to come in the mail for a long time, or you got to wait for you to send it back and then send out another one. That's not true.
That's actually pretty cool. Let me ask, how does the mailing process work? Like when you have to mail it back?
Yep. So you get something like this. It's pretty much like, without me showing you my address, but it's like this. It comes with a little sleeve, right? And so you rip it open, right? When you rip it open, it has one of these, and the game goes inside of this, goes inside of here, right? So you can see, if you can see split fiction, right? So
Okay, yeah.
you put it back in here, you slap it back in here, and then you rip this part off, and then just fold it, seal it, throw it in the mailbox, and that's it. You don't do nothing else.
Oh,
Yeah, and like I said, you go on the moment you put it in mailbox, go online and click ship back, and so they'll automatically give you credit as okay, you shipped it back. They'll send out your next game.
that's
That's
kind
it.
of neat. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
It's actually very enticing. I might have to start looking into that.
It's you know what it is? I think what's cool about it is if I use the Game Pass analogy, right? So whenever I used to have debates with Doc Dark, he would say, "Oh, but look at Game Pass, you get this and this and this." I'm not knocking Game Pass, but I would say I remember one time I did a stream. I pulled up all my GameFly list of games. It took me a half an hour to get through all my games. And what I like to say is, look at all the games on my list and look at all the games on Game Pass list. Game Pass got stellar games, but I'm getting games like Split Fiction, which isn't on there. I got Warhammer, which isn't on there. You know, I'm getting games that you not gonna be
Yeah.
on Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? So now I once did a video, and Doc Dark said, he said, "Dude, you need to do a video." The video was the greatest combination in gaming, and it was like if you had Game Pass and Gamefly, you got the industry on lock. You got like every game to your disposal. You know, in a subscription service.
Yeah. I was just actually before this podcast. I was in XBI en Español. They do it on Friday, and we were talking about services, and you know, each one I feel like have their strong and their weaknesses.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, listen, waiting for a game to come in the mail, I'm never gonna say that's like, oh, not that it bothers me because I'm usually playing. So I use GameFly like this. I use it for a game that I'm interested in, maybe buying, right? So I'll get a game that I'm like, it looked cool from the trailer, but I'm not sure, like Expedition 33, right? So I'll get Expedition 33 and I start playing it. If I like it that much, then I'll buy it. You know, so I GameFly a lot of games that I'm not really like. I'm like, it looks cool. I just want to play it and I just want to beat it because I'm kind of like, once I beat a game, I'm kind of done. So GameFly has helped me with that. It just allowed me to beat a game and send it back and be like, okay, I got to play it, I got to beat it, and a lot of people paid for it, which is cool. But I know a lot of people pay for games and beat them and never play them again. So it's kind of like, well, why should I pay for the game, beat it, and never play it? I'll just rent it, beat it, and send it back, and I save the money. You know?
Okay.
And now you're hungry.
Now you want to know. All right. Speaking about knowing, let's real quick before we let our imagination flow.
I know.
Go. I want to go real quick through. I believe these are probably the four main competitors for
Okay.
GameFly, which is GameStop, which is a primary retail store. You can buy and sell games, etc. I mean, everyone knows GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
We got Xbox Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
We got PlayStation Plus.
Yep.
And then we got Redbox, which I think out of the four, probably Redbox is the least, right? Because
Yeah.
usually when I think Redbox, I think movies. You know, they got the little kiosk.
Yeah, because Redbox games are very limited.
Yes.
That's the problem with Redbox. It's very limited. Yeah.
Correct. So the big what if is what if GameFly teamed up with a publisher? My first question is, who do you think the publisher should be? Like if you had to choose, if you were in charge, okay, GameFly hits you up. Listen, you're our premium customer. You've been with us since 2008. We want to hear from you. Who should we team up and why?
So before you ask me that, I think Purple said something. I just want to know. She said, if you play a game one at a time and beat and don't come back to the game, GameFly is for great value. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just saying. Yep, exactly what I said. Yep, exactly. That's the way I use it. I play a game, beat it, send it back, get another game, play it, beat it, send it. Or I get a game that I thought I was going to like, and I get it and be like, I don't really like this game. Well, guess what? If you buy it, you kind of feel like you owe it to the game because it's your money. But when I Gamefly it, like there's been times where people watch me Gamefly a game because one thing I didn't mention is I stream every game I get. So the first time I ever put a game in, I do a first impression. So the first time I experience the game, I experience it with the viewers. So every time I get a game, the very first time I play it live. And there's times where people watch me play a game for about an hour and be like, nah, I'm done. And I send it back and I'm done. But guess what? No harm, no foul. Now if I paid $70, whatever, then it'd have been like, oh man, I've been bummed out. So it has saved me a bunch of times. If you could think of since 2008, how many games I played and was like, oh, hell no. Now, back to your question. Here's what's great. I think it was a blessing in disguise that you couldn't do it last week because your question, I have a totally different answer. Because Nintendo just was revealed, the Nintendo Switch 2. And some people are like $80 games. Now, they only showed, as Purple said, they only showed one $80 game. So we don't really know how many games will be $80. And she made a good point. She reminded me, because I actually always worked at a video game store in the past. So
isn't that $80 game going to be 90 physical also?
That I don't know. I mean, I've heard that.
I heard that. I'm not sure, though.
Right. So even better. So I remember working at Sears Frontronics department when the Nintendo 64 came out, and I remember some games was 89, some games was it was different price. She was like, oh wow, that was their thing. Like their premier games was higher. Some of the games were a little lower. So but anyway, so to answer the question, it would have to be Nintendo. Imagine the world we're in today. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody's mad. And then Nintendo hits you with, bam, we just purchased Gamefly. And now Gamefly is owned by Nintendo. And if you get a Gamefly subscription, you could still get PlayStation games, Xbox games. But we now have Nintendo Switch games. And those games are in the service. So and they're owned by Nintendo. So for them, they're like, dude, as long as you get our game. And they're in high demand. So what do? Don't pay the $80 or the $90 for physical, right? You could Gamefly the game. I think right now, in this what-if scenario, Gamefly and Nintendo would be like people would be like, so I get to try these games. I get the $80 or $90. Oh, but I could just rent it and send it back? No-brainer. No-brainer. Everybody's happy. Nobody's crying and complaining. Nobody's saying, oh, the games cost so much. Sure, it's people that want to own them. You got your people that love to own. It got to be on the shelf somewhere. They got to have their physical they own. But there's some people who's like, bro, I just want to play it for a month or so.
I only have one counter to that, Nintendo being the one. I feel like Nintendo would be a company that they would be like, we purchase you, but you can no longer like do Xbox and PlayStation.
No, and that's fine. That could be so. When I said it, I mean that would be that would be okay.
Yeah,
so
that would be the optimal.
That would be the icing on the cake, right? But let's go with the Nintendo's Nintendo, right? Like the only time you ever seen a Nintendo game somewhere else is on your mobile phone. Like I was showing my wife the trailer for the new Switch. She got excited. She was like, "Oh, I want to get one." And then I told her the price of the game. She was like, nah, that's too much. So you know what she did? She said, let's play Mario Kart. Download it on your phone. She downloaded Mario Kart on her phone. I downloaded on my phone. And we got these big phones. And we was playing Mario Kart. It was fun. But Nintendo being Nintendo, let's just go with that, right? Nintendo only use Gamefly for them. But it'd be your own Nintendo service. Let's say it's wrapped into like the service where you could you know how you could let people borrow games? Remember they were doing that? Imagine if instead of 10, because I guess it's an extra $10. Imagine if it's like $15 a month is a Nintendo, and that wraps in like the chat feature, everything you got to pay for as a service online. Imagine this is $15, and that includes renting games from Nintendo.
That would be nice.
Dude.
Yeah.
Now let's go down. Let's say if Xbox got it, Xbox would be the one that still have PlayStation, Nintendo. Well, Nintendo probably wouldn't let them, or maybe they would. Nintendo's letting Gamefly do it now. So imagine Xbox owned Gamefly, and they still did Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation games. And imagine if you have Game Pass, it's included in your Game Pass, included in your Game Pass. That would be crazy.
I feel the only issue with that is they will probably bump the price way up higher. Because
Okay,
you can
well,
buy them both, yeah.
so what if they bumped it up like $5? So it
I
was
think
20. So imagine it was $25, and
I,
so
I,
you got
I, I think it's definitely worth it. Definitely. I just think, for me personally, it's starting to get to a point because when you have kids, and
mhm.
then they want to play also. If I pay Game Pass for them, Game Pass for me. That's why I'm hoping that so-called family plan finally arrives. Cause
Right. Yeah, yeah. You know that is real. I mean, like I know people who have like three separate Game Pass accounts, and
yeah,
I'm like,
that's
damn. Like the guy 501 Gaming, like he literally pays, and then he paid for two PlayStation Plus passes. I'm like, dude, you
yeah.
paying like $120 a month on video games.
Just on that, and I'm sure he has to have at least Netflix or one of the
Right,
other two.
obviously, yeah, yeah. Everybody got Netflix, right? So yeah. But now, well, let's go into the if PlayStation did it. If PlayStation partnered with GameFly, how would that be? I wonder would they be strict because PlayStation don't like to share. They fought tooth and nail to try not to do crossplay. You remember that?
Yeah,
So I'm assuming maybe it would be a Nintendo approach with them. They would only if they purchase GameFly, it would just also be Nintendo. I mean, sorry, also be just PlayStation. But think about it. You'll get PlayStation, and then you get all the Sony movies, right? So look at that. You'll get like all the catalog of Sony movies, which is a big deal as well.
true.
You know. Now I got something, right?
Okay.
So here's something and you read it earlier. You read that not Activision, EA ended up purchasing somewhere along the line. I thought it said Microsoft, but anyway, you read that EA purchased their cloud department. Man, when I had Stadia, what sucked was I was always used to renting games. So when I had Stadia, there was games I just had to buy, right? Like Resident Evil 9. I did not want to buy Resident Evil 9. And I love Resident Evil, but I just didn't like Resident Evil turning into first-person shooters. So I just wanted to rent, and like I rented and played 7, beat it, sent it back. Never owned 7. I did not want to, but I had Stadia. Stadia was cloud. There's no cloud rental. Man, imagine being able to cloud rent games. Because the thing is, you got this coming in the mail, so that takes some time, right? But imagine like Game Pass where you snap your finger and download a game. But imagine being able to have access to any game. So if GameFly came back with a cloud, so nobody purchased them, but they had a cloud part of GameFly. So they did, you could have any game but the cloud version for whatever company has cloud. That would be like because I had GameFly so long. They used to have PC games back in the day, and now they don't have PC games no more because most PCs don't have a disk drive. So
Yeah.
but GameFly used to have PC games. So, but to be able to get a game, snap your finger, and on the cloud and play it on whatever cloud, like PlayStation Cloud, you could rent a game for PlayStation Cloud. You could rent a game for X Cloud. You could rent a
Yeah, that'll
game
be
for
crazy.
Nintendo.
Like having an app on each console.
Right. That would be like, whoa.
But then I don't unless they stay small. But if they gain any sort of popularity, I'm sure the other platforms will be like, listen, we can't have you here because then it's gonna hurt their services.
Well, here's the funny thing. You say that, but remember, here's what people don't get. Game or Gamefly is hard to separate them when you start saying it. This already has Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation games, right? And it has, as long as the game is physical, it's on here. So
No,
like,
I understand, but the thing is like having an app, for
okay,
example, let's say Xbox, right?
okay.
You add a GameFly app that you can just play any game that you want there. And,
No.
and let's
What
say
I was suggesting was you have an Xbox Gamefly app, a PlayStation Gamefly app. Like for instance, you know when you get a game or you get something on, if you got an Android, you gotta have the Android version, or if you have the
Yeah, yeah.
iPhone, you got the iPhone version.
No, but even so, like you have the Xbox version of
Okay,
GameFly, right? You can play any game you can play on an Xbox. You can
right,
rent it there.
correct.
If the price is the same or similar, like me as a consumer, I would think, why have Game Pass when I can have this?
No,
If they see a lot of people start switching, then they're gonna be like,
uh,
listen, we can't have this app here.
so you know what my counter to that is? That's always the argument with Game Pass and physical. Now, people always say, well, what's the point of buying a game when I could just rent it from Game Pass, right? That literally, that's what you just said,
I
pretty
I,
much.
I think there's a difference there because like with Game Pass, like
Okay.
you know that some of the games are gonna go away, like they're not gonna stay there.
Okay.
You know, you gotta kind of have a time frame, and you got new games coming in, coming out, and all that. But when with Fly, you have access to all the games. I
Right.
think that changes everything.
No, I mean that does change the game.
Yeah,
Like imagine any game come out, you're like, oh, I want to play that. You might be like, well, I don't want to play this, because let's just say this. I'm sure some games like that. I've been seeing a lot of people play that Atom game or whatever. I'm like, bro, I never even seen a trailer for that game, but everybody's playing it. But guess what? It's on Game Pass, right? So why not, right? Everybody, you know what I'm talking about? Atom Fall or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I never seen a trailer, but like everybody's playing it. But it's on Game Pass, right?
yeah.
So there you go. But if you let's say the day Atomfall came out, Monster Hunter Wilds come out, or Split Fiction, and you're like, why the hell am I get this game I don't really know about? I'll get that game. So I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Let me see. I have some more things here, which I
Okay,
can't.
and I
I
think
think
Purple said some more stuff too.
actually, you want to read those real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah, yep. Purple said there has been here. Let me just put my phone to myself. I'm not. Purple said there has been no proof from Nintendo for a $90 game in the U.S. Not sure where people are getting this $90 for physical. She said if you can power through a game in a certain amount of time, for sure. She said, what about the game sharing on Switch, Mystic Fragments? And she said, question for Cowboy: when do you buy the game? Meaning, like, what games are you buying versus Gamefly? So there are certain games where, like, I kind of know. Like, so for instance, you guys been hearing me talk about Monster Hunter a lot. Like before it came out, months before that, I was like, I'm buying Monster Hunter, right? Then you got a game like my most anticipated game of 2024 was Warhammer. So I was like, Warhammer looks cool. Now I've never been into the series, but I was like, it just looks cool. The violence, the special weapons, the flying in the air. And guess what? I gameflied it, played it, beat it, did an online mode, co-op, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep it. So to answer your questions, usually the games I buy, I have a big deal with replay value. It kind of has to be a game where I feel like I like the gameplay so much that even if I don't play it for a year, like a God of War, it's like one day I'm like, I just want to play that. And that
Yeah.
actually happened last week. I played the demo for Kazan, because you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, Berserker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah, the last Berserker. So I played that demo came out, right? And IGN, everybody was saying like, "Oh, this is gonna be a really good hack and slash Souls ish game." And I played the demo, and I was like, "It's okay, but I would rather just play God of War." And I literally turned the demo off, deleted it, and just said, "Let me play God of War." And I haven't played God of War in months, but I threw it in. So that's the type of game that I would like to own. Is the games where either the gameplay loop is so good or it's co-op, because for me co-op and online is replay value. My friend
Yeah.
might buy the game that I have years later. Like, all right, perfect example, I gameflied Atlas Fallen. You know which one that was?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
game, yeah, you it's kind of remind me of Forspoken. You're kind of sliding on the sand and you got all these special powers. Gameflied it, beat it, did everything it was to do it, sent it back. It's over a year later, and 501 Gaming got 50 Trade Gaming. Sorry, he got it, and he's like, "Yeah, I've been playing the Cowboys." Oh, bro, I beat that game and everything. He's like, "It is cool," and I was like, I was on the fence of buying it because I did like the gameplay. The slide in remind me of Forspoken, so I was like, you know what? I put the little heart on the wish list on PlayStation, and it popped up the other day and it was like $25. Like, you know what? now I'm gonna buy it. But GameFly allowed me to play it, beat it, and be like, eh. I say that for Spoken. I love for Spoken, but when I played and beat it, I did GameFly it. I didn't buy that for a year later. Actually, I think it ended up being free. No, it wasn't free. It was I ended up getting it on a sale, and what was free that I fell in love with was the Callisto Protocol. I GameFlyed that. I was like, dude, this game is amazing. But it was like, one player game, you beat it. I was done. I was like, one day I'll buy it. I'm not in a rush to buy it.
Yeah.
Then eventually, a year later, it was free on the PlayStation. I was like, okay, I was gonna buy it anyway. So it's stuff like that that GameFly allowed me to do. Allow me to play the game I want or think I might want to buy. So I hope that answers your question, bro.
Yeah. And to answer, I think she asked me about what about the game sharing on the Switch. I think I told her on her live that I thought that was pretty cool, especially like I have kids. I only have one Switch though, but let's say if I had if I had multiple
Your
Switch,
game sharing is going like this. Here, take this.
yeah. But if I did have multiple, I can
Yeah,
just share with them that way. That's pretty cool. So,
yeah.
okay, so here's a question for you.
Okay. Shoot.
So we kind of did talk about the implications of how it could impact in terms of like the I think we touched a little bit on the economics, like it could
Right.
probably the price could change.
So let me
um
say this about that. I think right now GameFly isn't as popular. I think people have heard of it, but I don't think like I don't know anybody else that has it. I know people who always end up getting it. Like I actually partnered with a company that was giving me passes, so I was able to give people cheaper a cheaper month subscription and stuff like that. But I feel like I don't know anybody who still use it all the time like I do, right? And it get the connotation of like, oh, it comes in the mail, so I get that, right? But if it was like partnered with Nintendo or PlayStation or Xbox and it was more popular, I think that would definitely shake things up. And something like GameStop, like you said earlier, was their competition. You said Redbox, you said PlayStation, and also Game Pass. I think those four companies, if GameFly got more popular, it might be a shakeup.
you know what they should try to do now that I'm thinking about it? Because for example, you've been with them for years, for example, but
Right.
they probably don't know that you do content. But they should look for people that use GameFly that might be interested in doing content, right? And make up a list, and then go to go to each platform and be like, listen, I have these content creators. They they create content on video games and all that. Can you, when a game is coming out, some of those keys that you do for reviews and all that, can you send me some of those? Give me some of those keys, and maybe GameFly could partner with, with people like you. Let's say Cowboy, you're interested in the game. Here's a key, and then you can play it even like earlier, and then
Yeah.
you can even promote GameFly for
So
people
it's
like
cool. They're very active on Twitter. One time one time I made I was talking about one of my first impressions, and I tagged GameFly. They actually wrote in my comments on Twitter, and so I said to them, I said, "Man, I love GameFly. I've been doing it since 2008." I said, "I wish you guys had a referral system." It was like, "We do." I was like, "You do?" But it's through like another company. So they was like, "This is." They actually sent me the link and everything. So I actually reached out to them. I filled it out, but it's like it was so weird and awkward the way you use it, and like it was hard to like check and find out and get the link that you give to people, and just eventually it just like I just fell out of it, and it's like I wasn't even active anymore.
okay,
But yeah, I mean that would be cool. I think here's the thing. Here's the game changer. You ready?
right, I'm
Cloud
ready.
isn't popular, right? So one thing I did left out. Okay, imagine if GameFly went digital. That would change everything. Everything does digital, but then you'll be able to get the game at a snap of your finger, right? I mean, I think it would shift the landscape of people purchasing games. Imagine if you said, well, you could just download a game now instead of paying, and you pay $17.99 a month, instead of you buying the game, you literally could download it, beat it, and then get your next one. So I guess they would have to figure something out because they would probably lose money. Because think about it, my wife and I beat Split Fiction in like a week or so, right? But I still have it because I want to play it with my son. Imagine how I just said, "Oh, never mind, I'm done with it," and then instantly got another game, right? So I guess they would probably lose money, but that would shake things up. People will buy very less video games, kind of like the Game Pass thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think. I mean, they gotta find a way because if you look, to me, I think people are buying less video games, or maybe it's just that there's more choices.
Yep.
So some of the other games are, filling some of the.
I think two things. I think
And then you got the free to play games. So.
here, that's what I was gonna say. So you got people playing stuff like Warzone, obviously, Fortnite, World of Warcraft. You got people playing these free to play games. Then you got people
No,
just getting.
you gotta take World of Warcraft out of that list.
I don't know.
That's
You
$15 a month.
That is true, but I mean, this is what I want to say, right? Is whatever could, like, at this point, everything is competition. Watching a movie is competition, right? If I'm gonna go to the movies and not play video games, it's competition. If I'm gonna turn on Netflix and it's competition. My wife is competition, right? So what I'm saying is, World of Warcraft, $50 a month is competition from you buying a game. When I used to be so into Destiny, I would rent games on GameFly and play them like what's the one zombie game with you have a motorcycle?
Days Gone.
Yeah, Days Gone, right? I remember game playing that, and I just wanted to play Destiny so bad. I played it, and I was like, and I thought it was done with the motorcycle. You got to keep upgrading it. So I instantly sent it back. Never gave it a chance. Same thing with some big games. What's the samurai game on PlayStation?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Another game I got was just like didn't give it a chance. Guess what? Because my attention was on Destiny.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, people are playing these long-term games, right? Where they're just like, I don't want to buy a game because this is my only game, right? And that's why all these games are live service because everybody want to be a Fortnite or a Warzone or a Destiny. People want that magic lightning in the bottle. Look at Marvel Rivals, good success, right? So I think people aren't buying many games because you got subscription services, you got the live service games, and those two things alone is kind of like it's gonna stop you from buying another game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. Like honestly, I might buy 3 games a year, maybe, because I rent games all year. So it's very I can't wait to play Doom. But guess what? I'm not buying Doom. You know what I mean? I'll either Game Pass it or Gamefly it because it has no online mode. So once I beat it, like what else am I doing in Doom the Dark Ages? I don't want to own it. It's like a one and done. It's like the Sony games, right? I'll be the first to say Sony games are one and done. Gamefly, listen, everybody like Sony games one and done. I never cared about one and done games. That's why I always tell people like I'm a little different. People like, oh, you this and that about games. Like my mind isn't the same as you guys because I don't buy games like everybody else do. People put so much in the video games because they spending a lot of money, right? So people are buying games that this game look amazing. This game look amazing. So people have been buying games as we do, and like you're a different beast. You're a different animal. You got more of a bravado on your chest because this is my game. I'm like, dude, your game I just rented and beat and sent back. I don't care about your game. I don't care about God. I was gonna rent God of War Ragnarok because it's like, bro, I'm gonna beat it and be done. The only thing made me buy it was the cliffhanger at the end of the 2018. I was like, I didn't want that to get ruined, so I was so afraid of it getting ruined. I bought the game so I could jump right on it.
Wow. All right. I got one
Okay.
huge problem with GameFly.
Okay.
Which it might not be a problem. It might just be something that it hasn't been brought up yet in the conversation. But I think Purple Haze gonna appreciate this question. So, I haven't heard yet nothing about the indie developers.
Okay.
How it's how are indie developers benefiting from GameFly, or are there indie games in
So
GameFly? How does that
remember,
work?
here's the bad thing with indies. A lot of times, indie developers, a lot of times they don't have their games on physical.
Physical,
A lot of times it's a little more costly. Like Purple was talking to the one guy on his I don't know the dude's name, but I think he said like he doesn't want to put his game on disc because that's extra money. So,
yeah,
and I heard somebody else say that before too, like indie developers. So, like even in Stadia, when we was in the Stadia, like I've interviewed a bunch of indie developers because they wanted to get their game in the cloud. They wanted it, to be a new way to get people, and also they didn't have to pay for that other side that you're paying for the industry of sending it out. But as far as indie games, I mean, GameFly, if your game's on a disc, more than likely it's on GameFly. You know.
yeah,
So that's
true.
what's pretty cool. But again, that would be on the indie guy. If the indie guy don't put their game on disc, then it's no harm, no foul because they didn't put it there. You know. So
True.
it really GameFly really can't hurt them. Purple said, I also feel that the point of supporting indies is actually to support them. Got you. So she's saying to actually like if you want to support them, buy their game. Don't rent their game.
Yeah,
But I
true.
think you have to think though. Same thing with Game Pass, GameFly. They do deals with these companies. These companies are making money, right? So we can't make it like, oh, they're making no money at all.
Oh no, definitely.
Right.
Usually when they make deal, especially if it's like a day one, they, from what I heard,
Mhm.
don't quote me on this, but mainly they secure at least like their development,
Mhm.
like what they spend on development,
Right.
and then from there, But here's the thing that happens with a lot of like these live service, like not always, but when you put your game in a live service like Game Pass, for example, if people start playing it and the game is actually good,
Right.
word of mouth spread. And let's say, for example, I have an Xbox, but you don't have one, but you have a PlayStation and the game is on PlayStation. You might just buy it
Right.
because, and that's sometimes that helps more than
I agree.
yeah,
The
so
thing is, nobody's forcing them, right? So, and it's like, yeah, I remember the makers of the most recent Oddworld game said when they put their game on PlayStation, they actually lost money and they regretted it. So, but listen, you never know, right? They
yeah,
didn't think their game was going to be that popular. Oddworld didn't come out for many years, so they thought, the popularity of it died, right? So they did
yeah,
the deal, and then come to find out it was more popular and more people were looking to buy it, but they was, people were just, you
yeah.
know,
It's like a gamble basically.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, my okay, I think I got two more questions for you.
Okay.
So the first one is, what would be your prediction long term? Let's say if GameFly partners with one of these publishers. It could be anyone, but let's
Right.
say they partner with a publisher. Long term, like where do you see them? Like what's their potential? Do you think they they would stay the same? They will grow? Like what would you think would be the evolution of them?
I think since gaming is kind of simple, right? It's you supply, it's supply and demand, right? Games are coming out. We want to buy them. We want to rent them, whether it's cloud, digital, physical, right? I think if they join forces with another company and only that company, that would just make that company look better. Like for instance, remember when PlayStation started doing a new PlayStation Plus, and they start doing the premium, and the premium they was like, oh, we got demos that could be up to 5 hours, and people was like, oh, that's I just think it's another plus. Remember when Xbox said every single first party game will be day and date? Oh, I just think to have a company to be able to say, and you could rent any game for $18 a month and be done with it and send it back or whatever, however it will be. That's just another like, whoa, that just gives you, like we always say, we like options, right?
Yeah,
So just for me, that's a powerful option. And I think it's one of those things where I remember when Cloud first came out and people was like, this and that. And I always said, I bet if Sony did really got into Cloud first, people would take it more serious because there's certain like brands where they look like, oh, they think it's premium. Like Nikes. You just think Nikes is better because it's Nikes. Like, bro, it's still a sneaker, right? So I feel like Gamefly isn't that popular. But sky's the limit if it partnered with Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation. So I could only
I
see it
mean,
being
they could also publish or they could also partner with, like, for example, an Amazon, an Ubisoft, EA.
right.
Yeah, it
But the
doesn't.
question is, would they only do? Would they only do Amazon? Would they only do Ubisoft games? Would they because Ubisoft got their own subscription. EA
I,
got
I feel like if they partner with like a Ubisoft or an EA, it might be easier for them to maintain the relationship with the
the
other
other
three
company.
platforms. Yeah,
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 but I also then feel they're not going to give that popularity, right?
true.
Some people will be like, oh, they're with EA, okay, whatever, right?
Yeah, true,
Oh, they're
true.
with Amazon, they're with. But if you say like GameFly and PlayStation, GameFly and Xbox, GameFly and Nintendo, that's a bigger.
I feel like the only way that with Amazon, it could be kind of like really good, and this is why I also said with Luna, if they would have done this, it would have been more maybe not as popular as Game Pass, but
Right,
definitely more popular if they would have added to Prime.
right.
I don't know why, if they
Well,
can combine it with Prime.
Luna eventually did have a Prime. Luna has a Prime thing now, so like you get a certain amount of games
Oh yeah,
included.
yeah, I cash them in
Yeah,
every time when I remember.
yeah, I never even looked at it.
Yeah, I
Here's my
do it
problem.
even though I most of the games I already have, but
Right,
I always say you never know where you're gonna
yeah,
game,
yeah,
so I just if it's free, it's free. Just
yeah. I think the problem with Amazon is they're just not as popular. People look at them for making purchases. People look at them for their amazing return policy. People look at them for getting 2-day delivery or 24-hour delivery. Like my least favorite subscription service is Amazon Prime Movies. I couldn't tell you the last time I even looked at it. The first time, like when I used to try to find something to watch, I'm like, the only thing I watch on that is The Boys. When The Boys is off,
yeah, the
I
boys.
don't
Yeah,
touch it.
yeah.
So I think if they partner with Amazon, it'd be like, all right, whatever. Like it get lost in the shuffle of Amazon Prime as far as delivery. You know?
If anything, I feel like it might be on purpose that they do it because sometimes when I end up looking in there, I end up wanting to rent a movie or
Okay.
just buy it because the ones they give you like
Yeah.
don't really entice me.
No, I agree. And then you know what too? If they did do Amazon, there's so many times I looked at Amazon and there's movies in there and they're not in there's not covered in the subscription. I'm like, well, what's the point of even showing me? Now I
Yeah,
got to spend extra money, like. So, but imagine if it was like, oh, GameFly, you see that movie and you like, oh, we can use the GameFly portion of your Amazon subscription, and now you could just have that movie sent to you or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
And real quick before the final question, I saw something here
yeah,
on Purple. So, oh, she was talking about the I don't know if she was referring specifically to indie games, but she did mention, if she likes something, just buy it. And yeah, I agree. Like, for example, even though I have Game Pass, for example,
uh-huh.
I played Avowed. I was playing it. I actually, it was way better than I thought. I got engaged
Nice.
and I bought it because I wanted to play it like Avowed is actually way longer than what supposedly it's supposed to be. So I
Nice.
wanted to play it on my ROG Ally.
Yeah, well,
So
here's what's
I
cool.
just bought it.
You got to play it first through Game Pass, right?
Yes.
So again, that's for me. Like GameFly comes in handy. For instance, Purple Haze number one most anticipated game of 2025 is Reanimals. Now that has a special place in my heart too because it used to be it was the original makers of Little Nightmares, right? So now Little Nightmares Part 3 is technically made by a different company. So they're both supposed to come out this year. But it's like Reanimals was technically be the real Little Nightmares 3. But I'm like, well, did they get lost in the shuffle? Will it be as good? And before that, before they did this whole, before I knew that, I was like, oh, I'm buying it because finally it's going to be co-op. Like me and my wife, we beat part one and part two, but we always got to pass the controller. Now we're going to be able to do it together. But I'm like, I don't know if I want to buy it now. So guess what? I'm going to Gamefly it. And then if I like it, I'm just instantly going to buy it. Or I'll play and beat it and send it back if I feel like there's no replay value. If I feel like my wife and I, we have fun, like even Split Fiction. Split Fiction is amazing, but I don't think I want to own it. I feel like once I beat it with my son and I got to be the other side, like what else? You know, it was fun and it's cool that you could go select missions to replay, but it's kind of like I don't know. Do I want to do it all over again?
I haven't bought it, but that's one game I definitely want to buy.
Right.
Especially, I don't know. It's something about the the game itself, but also the game developer.
Mhm.
I always like to support people that are like that I
Right.
see that are like him. For example, I seen an interview where he said he would never do microtransactions because he feels that's a part of the industry that that you when you make a game you shouldn't think about making like money, even though you do want to make money, but you
Right.
shouldn't think about making you should think about always like how can I make this game good,
Right.
not about like, oh, let me find a
Well,
mechanic or something to add to charge for the player.
I
So
I think
I
what's
applaud
cool.
that.
Yeah, I think it was cool. Not that I seen that what he said, but when I think of Split Fiction, I'm like, dude, they did so much. Like they went all out. So it's like you
Yeah.
said earlier. Yeah, they could. There probably more they could do, but it's like you did a lot. Like yeah, if you want to make a DLC of, but it's like you put so much in that game. But let me come back to something. You said for you with Split Fiction, you want to still buy it, right? Just imagine if you. I'm asking you now. Try to just take yourself out of the normal, okay, Game Pass, I buy a game, whatever. Just imagine if you were renting games since 2008. Your brain wouldn't be the same. Just
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
if
No, no.
you've been so used to like, oh, that's a big budget game. I don't gotta pay for it. Like, think about it. Not this year because I didn't do it yet. I game locked last year's Call of Duty. I had last year's Call of Duty 3 days after it came out running around playing with everybody else. When people start complaining or this and that, I was like, well, I don't bother me because I'm sending it back. I beat the story and everything. No, I didn't beat the story. I got halfway through the story. I was like, and I sent it back. I got to play online. I got to do all this stuff. I was like, well, Warzone's free. If I want the taste of it, I'll just play Warzone. Matter of fact, I just re-downloaded Warzone 2 days ago because my friend was like, oh, you should play with me. So for me, my brain is different. Like a lot of people get mad at me sometimes, like, you don't get it. Like, no, you don't get it. I
Yeah.
think different. There's no part of gaming where I'm tied to a game. Like I'm not, because this just allowed me to sneak and weasel my way through.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's
It's like that. We like before I got into college, that's
Mhm.
when I actually started working also. I used to live on, whatever allowance I had.
Right,
And I used to be honest, I used to pirate a lot of games because I didn't have the funds.
right,
So once even I started working, it took me a while to actually think about buying the games
right.
because you're
Yeah,
used to a certain way and it's
yeah.
you're not.
And you know what it is? It's easy come, easy go. Now I'm not taking away from the games, the quality of the games. Was it a great game? But my mind isn't like, oh my god, I gotta like my buildup is I'm excited to play this game, but I'm not excited to own this game.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
if you can play it like
Right. That's what
without
I just
owning it, like you don't need to. Yeah. So
right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely get it. It's understandable.
Yeah.
All right, final question. So imagine a scenario where GameFly offers exclusive access
Okay.
to publisher. We kind of touched it a little bit. To access to publisher specific games. How would game? Oh, how will gamers react? Oh, here's the question. Let's say, for example, they team up with EA.
Okay.
You cannot play EA games nowhere else because they teamed up with GameFly. The only way you can get it is through GameFly. like how what would you think would be the reaction on gamers, and what would that cause? Do you think that would be enough for like GameFly to earn popularity, or it will just be maybe hated?
If yeah, it would that would do something. So imagine EA. EA is a big company,
Yeah.
right? So if EA was owned, that's a great one to use, right? I would say Activision if they
If
wasn't owned
yeah.
by because when you just think of gaming, you think of Call of Duty, right? Like, but
Mhm.
yeah, imagine if you could only get your, like you said, your EA games through GameFly, right? You can still GameFly it on a PlayStation. You can still GameFly it on a Xbox or a Nintendo, but it had to come from GameFly. Wow, that would instantly make everybody know this company. Like it will put the company on the map for everybody, you know.
Yeah.
But would it be only through mail, or would you also be able to download it through GameFly? You know,
I
like would
mean, I
you?
feel if they partner, they will probably do download too.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
digital.
definitely.
Yeah.
'Cause they have the infrastructure to do it.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? People don't realize too. You can rent consoles too on GameFly. Like GameFly got like toys, like
Oh, I had a question like that earlier, but I
yeah.
forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the pop sockets or the pop whatever they call with the little big head things. They got the controllers. Like when the PlayStation 5 first came out, Gamefly was sending me stuff. Get the bundle. You could have got the bundle from Gamefly when everybody else was like sold out. I was like, damn, I just got a thing from Gamefly. But I was in Stadia at the time. So I didn't care.
You know what would be kind of cool if they do something like, you know how Xbox did the early access, not the early access,
Yeah, where you
the
paid
all
for
access.
you got
Yeah,
the yes.
yeah, that would be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah.
And then they could do it with any of the consoles. Think of that. That's yeah, that would be pretty cool. All right. Well, I like to keep the what if short, and I think we went for an hour, and it was a great episode. Honestly, I'm actually gonna look how much you pay for. How much is the subscription for
Yeah,
Gamefly?
it's 17.99.
17.99. Okay, interesting.
And again, it's on you how long you keep the game or not, right? So obviously, if you're getting a couple games a month, then you beat the system, right? It's like a $60 game, $70 game, $80 games. We're starting to talk about $90 games. But the longer you keep it, it's up to you, right? I remember having The Last of Us 2. I had that game for probably like 7 months. It was a very long time. Me and my wife was playing it. We was getting really bored of it. I would barely play it. Then I would be like, okay, we need to play it. And so obviously I could have bought that game a bunch of times. But at the end of the day, it's on me. It's my money. So
Yeah.
the freedom that GameFly gives me is so worth the 17.99 because I could literally get whatever and decide if I like it that much, then I could buy it.
You
And
could
then I
only get one game per at a time.
Oh, you could do two if you want. You could do two. I think
Okay,
two
so
is 24.99.
oh, okay, but you
Yeah,
gotta pay extra.
yeah.
Okay.
And if you do two, you get more game locks. So like you could game lock more games than just one a month if you pay for the 24.99.
Okay.
Yeah, but my friend Obi Rose, he did the two games. I said, here's the thing: you usually are always playing your own game, right? Whether you got it, whether you're playing a Fortnite or a Monster Hunter Wilds or a WWE or whatever. So like to have two games, I feel is too overwhelming. Like think
That
about
you
it. You
know that'd
already
be smart if, like, for example, let's say you and a buddy, you live close,
that would be
and then
cool.
you do it, and then yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Because think about it: if you already got Game Pass, you got all those games. Then you got GameFly. And it's like, dude, how you got time to play all these games? Like
Yeah.
especially to get two. Like, yeah.
All right. Well, been a pleasure having you. It's been
Thank you, man.
a great episode, and hopefully, maybe we'll have you back sometime
I
again.
love it, man. Come up with something else, and I'll be in there. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Always been a pleasure, talking to you. You're just a really cool person in the community, and I love everything you do. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you, man. Where can we find you?
So, I am AKA the Cowboy King of Entertainment, Anthony L. Lewis in real life, and my channel is, and now your mama knows. That's my grandma on there that passed away in 2015. I gotta get a new shirt because it's kind of faded. But you guys could find me at, and now your mama knows. I do one daily vlog, so every single day I put out one new video. If you're a channel member, I make a bunch of videos, and then you could pick, you get to play, you get to see them all before everybody else. And every day I pick and choose a new one to put out. Um, on Tuesdays, I got a really cool show called Keeping It Real with the Cowboy. I've been kind of changing it around a little bit, but it's kind of developing into a debate show. So it's kind of like I welcome anybody to bring whatever they would like to kind of talk about and debate about. And we'll see if people take debate, if people want to debate or not. But I'm making it very interactive. So even if you were in the comments, you don't have to be on the panel. I would literally pull everybody off the panel but the one person you're going back and forth with, and I'll read your comments, have them respond. Read your comments, have them respond. Then I might pull that person off, pull somebody else on, because I want to see how we can switch it up and get the vibe, right? See how interactive it is. So I welcome people to come with their own anything they want to talk about, anything they want to rebuttal, whatever. And I got a feeling after my vlog for tomorrow, which is going to be about Purple Haze, I got a feeling on Tuesday she might actually show up to the show. And my today's video was on Doc Dark,
I saw that one. Yeah.
1985. So and then on Wednesdays I do a wrestling league I've been doing for over 2 years. We never missed a week. We do it on Wednesdays. It's called We Wrestle Wednesdays. We got 11 different titles we play for. It's just a ball of fun. And once we're done defending each title, that's when the night ends. And then I just sporadically, those are the 2 days I do content, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then I might stream one day with my wife, like randomly and stuff like that. So, but that's my channel. Check me out. And now your mama knows. I appreciate it. You guys are great. Sourblow, he's the guy, man. He's the guy.
No, man,
Yeah.
you're the guy. Thank you, and thank you for everyone in the chat. Thank you, Purple Haze, for supporting. And see you. Let me see. When is it? When I'll be back? I'll be back
Purple says she's coming. Yeah, all right.
Friday the 25th. I think I'll be back with another What If.
Nice.
All right. Well, see you and take care.
Later, guys.